I'm Dream Queen. You're in the cab with me, and we're reading from Kahlil Gibran's The Prophet. Thank you so much for being here and coming back for more. For those of you who are new, I already told you, but maybe you just tuned in the last 45 seconds. Go to Linktree in the cab radio, scroll all the way down, you can see book club resources, and you can click on that link and it'll take you to KahlilGibran.com. And also, I think it's the Gutenberg Institute or something like that, where you can get free downloads or PDFs or HTML and find this book for free. It's in public domain. It's out here for all of us to devour upon our desire. All right. And it's about Al-Mustafa, who's the chosen and the beloved. And he was a dawn unto his own day. He was a wise person in his lifetime. And he had waited 12 years in the city of Orphalese for his ship that was to return and bear him back to the isle of his birth. And we meet Al-Mustafa on his way down to the seawall because his ship did indeed arrive. And all of the villagers are walking away from their day's work to follow him and grieve his leaving and open themselves up to his wisdom. And we've come pretty far, y'all. We've come pretty far. We are, we are, I don't know what's next. We've got about 3, 7. Yeah, we've got about 8 more. You guys, I skipped one. There's supposed to be friendship in between talking and teaching. Well, I didn't do my homework on friendship. What do you think? What do you think? I don't know. Should I stay on script? I guess so, because this came out in the way that it came out, and I have some points I want to make, so we'll just stay with it. I do know a lot about friendship, but I'm not prepared to bring that piece in. So my point is that we've got about 8 more pieces left here. We've come a long way together. And like Camille Yarborough and Fatboy Slim or Moby or whoever did that, through the hard times and the good. So we're just gonna do talking. So they met him all down at the seawall. They all met him at the seawall. And Almitra, the high priestess, came out and said, please tell us about ourselves. And they started asking Al-Mustafa to expound on certain subjects. You know, last week, the piece was on teaching. And I've said before that there are certain pieces that I feel like are together for a reason. And I guess that's why I print out, I don't do my homework from my book. I do it on sheets of paper that I print out so I can mark it up and write my notes and everything. And I guess things got jumbled up in my world. And that's how it made sense to me that talking and teaching went together. You know, it really made sense to me because I'll read this to you now and then we'll talk a little bit more about it. I'm definitely going to throw a song in between because now I'm babbling on more than I had meant to. So a scholar said, speak of talking. And he answered saying, you talk when you cease to be at peace with your thoughts. And when you can no longer dwell in the solitude of your heart, you live in your lips. And sound is a diversion and a pastime. And in much of your talking, thinking is half murdered. For thought is a bird of space that in a cage of words may indeed unfold its wings, but cannot fly. There are those among you who seek the talkative through fear of being alone. The silence of aloneness reveals to their eyes their naked selves, and they would escape. And there are those who talk, and without knowledge or forethought, reveal a truth which they themselves do not understand. And there are those who have the truth within them, but they tell it not in words. In the bosom of such as these, the Spirit dwells in rhythmic silence. When you meet your friend on the roadside or in the marketplace, let the Spirit in you move your lips and direct your tongue. Let the voice within your voice speak to the ear of his ear. For his soul will keep the truth of your heart, as the taste of the wine is remembered when the color is forgotten and the vessel is no more. Kahlil Gibran on talking from the prophet. You know, I do a lot of things out here for comic relief, y'all. You know, I just have to bring the funny, you know, some of my mispronunciations are on purpose. I can code switch if I wanted to, sound like a scholar, write everything down. Or I can keep it casual, because really that's what it's about. Just living life comfortably. We are all forced to be uncomfortable so much of the time. We don't tune into community radio for stuffy stuff, right? So let's just keep it casual. My notes, they're handwritten and out of order. Don't expect more from me on a Saturday morning. So point 1, you talk when you cease to be at peace with your thoughts. And when you can no longer dwell in the solitude of your heart, you live in your lips. And sound is a diversion and a pastime. I hate it when these people that I read be like talking to me and calling me out, specifically with my little astrology references. I know who I am. And it's so lovely to find out new things about myself every day, but also to revisit the old things and to make some of these things be okay. And maybe some of y'all will vibe with my vulnerability out here. Because I am not at peace with my thoughts. You know? I'm not at peace with my thoughts, sitting on my thoughts during times like these. You know, it's hard to feel in my nature that my being drawn to radio from I've been into radio and in radio since I was very, very young. Regular listeners may recall I've talked about this a lot. Since I was a kid with my first tape recorder to my first job being at WAMU radio, you know, my first real job and, you know, majoring in communications and art school and things like this in high school, you know. So, you know, yeah, sound is a diversion and a pastime for me. And for all of our lovely DJs here at KMRD. It's something that pulls us to communicate as humans. And some of us use sound. And it makes us happy to talk with you and share with you our favorite songs and our ideas. And listen to yours when you relate to us. You can relate to me at Instagram, In the Cab Radio. Plug in there. In the Cab Radio, Gmail. Send a note over. Loving vibrations, please. Can't handle much more. But we're drawn to it. And I wrote a couple points down. Trying to become okay with myself. Because, you know, I've been accused of being on a soapbox. You know, such as this. Living in my lips. I had a friend who would call me action mouth. And I was like, wow, you know, because I just blah, 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 right? But I don't have to be offended at that because I'm a human and this is how we communicate, through speech. song, art, creativity. So I think, point A for me was the desire to accomplish something with the group. Collective action. And that's basic interpersonal, because we're here together. We talked about no man is an island last week on teaching. So we have to be interactive and communication, and talking. I'm not leaving out ASL folks, where we're talking with our hands at that point, sign language, right? We're going from interpersonal to political, right? To our collective experience here on earth together. Another reason, self-expression. To just let you know how I feel around art, through art and beauty, pain. Another thing about talking is prayer. Some people come through spiritual practices that involve actually speaking your prayers out loud. It's a belief that your breath contains your DNA, contains the essence of you, and it personalizes your prayer to say it out loud. Also, the vibrations, you can feel it, your vocal cords. I talked before about how song is a prayer. When you can feel it in your vibrational field. Very strong. Not saying that just thinking your prayers isn't very strong. We all have our methods. There's that Tim the Tool Man, more power. Say it out loud, sing it, dance it. Put all of yourself in it. Put all yourself in it. Because point D is it's all towards a desire to affect and change conditions. Your heart, your mind, of yourself or of someone that is close to you and affecting you, or far away from you and affecting you. And it's to sustain a vibration. This thing is beautiful. This thing is beautiful, and I want to amplify its beauty by sharing it with others. Whether that be a painter, painting or whatever. But some of us do it by talking. The next point. And in much of your talking, thinking is half murdered. This is where I started to think about how do we become a listener, Like when I was talking about teaching and how an important part of being a good teacher, because we're all teachers and we're all students, and you understand that, then if you are specifically put in a position as being a teacher, it's a tool in your toolbox. And so in being a good talker, you have to be a good listener. So we have to be receptive to ideas. When I talk, I have to constantly remind myself that I don't want to sound like I am making things sound like there's only one way to do a thing. There's room for everybody. And that's an important way to get along on the planet. Being receptive. There are few things that are absolute. Math and death is what I put in my notes. Horrible. Math and death. But, the rest, even science, they're manipulating gravity. They made a woolly mammoth mouse. Now, I'm not going to go into all the things in the news. But why do we need a woolly? Why we need to bring a woolly mammoth back? But hey, up until whatever, dinosaurs were extinct. Well, that's not a thing anymore, right? Everything can be just about everything can be changed, but they need math equations. And as much as people chase after immortality, I don't think we're quite there yet. So the next thought that we're going to go into, for thought is a bird of space that in a cage of words may indeed unfold its wings, but cannot fly. And that's the main point from the opening line of teaching last week. No man can reveal to you aught but that which already lies half asleep in the dawning of your knowledge. If he is indeed wise, he does not bid you to enter the house of his wisdom, but rather leads you to the threshold of your own mind. It is the idea that people have to really experience something to really learn it. We can enjoy the exchange of communication, but isn't it really about inspiration? Inspiring someone to do something, to experience something for themselves. To inspire that change. Not necessarily give a directive, but just to plant a seed. I want to touch a little bit on the sentences in between. Most of them are self-explanatory, I think. I wanted to talk about my concern a little bit about what we seek from the talkative. What we seek from the talkative through fear of being alone. What we put on in the background as background noise. A lot of people participate in this. Love y'all who got KMRD on as background noise. It's a beautiful thing. Thank you for supporting us with your spirit. And I hope that we can meet you in a sacred way. That the background noise that I provide for you as you do your chores, or if you're at work, or cooking breakfast, whatever it is you're doing, driving, that this is healing for you and inspiring. Even if it's painful in some ways, you're not alone in that. Because if you're feeling pain through me on this show, then it's because I'm feeling it. And we're together here. We can use these times to change us, to inspire our growth. But when you put it on, just whatever on the TV to fall asleep to, we got to be careful, y'all. I noticed what's coming back as they're digging in the advertisements. At least for me, I feel like I'm choosing what I'm watching a lot on YouTube. I own it. Whatever, judge me if you want, but I choose what I want to take in as far as my learning materials and things and news, and I'm responsible. But I see the ads that are coming through are different than what they were 2 months ago. The people in the ads look different. I was getting way more brown people, but now it's just a lot of white people, and it's a lot of pro-Israel, free stars of David. Like it's a lot of things coming through that, as they take away DEI, that means they wanna make this a homogenous state. Okay, be careful what you're taking in the background. For fear of being alone. Just for some noise in your house, be careful what that is. All right, that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to ask you to, reveal to yourself your naked self or do all of that work if you're not ready for that. Just make sure that what you are substituting with is in alignment, and definitely what you're falling asleep to. There are those who talk and without knowledge or forethought reveal a truth which they themselves do not understand. That's a deep one. Sometimes I come in here on that. I call them channel messages. I can catch up to them sometimes. It's more like aha moments. Aha moments are great. I support that. Don't have to be so judgy. At the same time, there are those liars among us, those smiling faces who tell lies right in front of our face. And some of them don't even know that they're being used as puppets. I don't know if anybody caught the speech on Tuesday. It was wild. But I found myself confused. And I want to give thanks to all the people who do research and dig up facts and fact check our leaders that don't even know. They just given a script and they say things to mislead people on purpose for money. And sometimes they tell on themselves and don't even see it. We got to stay strong, y'all. Got to stay aware. Got to stay awake. Got to stay woke. And there are those who have the truth within them, but they tell it not in words. In the bosom of such as these, the Spirit dwells in rhythmic silence. Oh, yeah. Those are the people around you that I feel like are walking the walk. They're walking the walk. They spent that time in the silence of aloneness, and their naked selves revealed to themselves their dharma. And they do more and talk less. I used to want to be like that. I still kind of do, but I don't want to be anything that's against my nature. So I found myself on the radio talking. But I want to do more of my walking. I want to do more of the walking. Which I guess brings us to the final point. Points that I'm going to leave you with. When you meet your friend on the roadside or in the marketplace, let the Spirit in you move your lips. Let the Spirit in you move your lips and direct your tongue. Let the voice within your voice speak to the ear of his ear. For his soul will keep the truth of your heart. As the taste of the wine is remembered when the color is forgotten and the vessel is no more. These streets, y'all, these streets. I found myself having to get right before I go out in these streets. Do what you got to do too. Get in touch with your heart. It brings us back to last week again. It's not a mistake. I'm not trying to edit you, Kahlil, but I'm just trying to say I like my order better. Just like last week, we got to come and just tap in if you can to your heart chakra. We try to get right before we go in these streets. And also when we meet each other with compassion and understanding that we don't know what each other is going through. It's not about you. It's not about me. To slow down and think, we don't know what this person is going through, and what they're going through is every bit as important as what I'm going through. And then, is what I'm going through that important? Or is it transitory? Feelings are transitory. There are a lot of things out here that we have no control over. We don't have any control over. We also don't know what's going to happen. And I feel like for me, when I stop and I think about the people who are up against like a really hard, cold reality of what's happening, Like, we have the fear of the what if and the fear of something taking a long time. But I think about my trans sisters that are being moved into men's federal prisons now. And I told y'all about, if you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen me sharing the ASMR video that the White House, they love it. That is that. No, they love that. The White House put out the ASMR video that was with the chains, and it showed and the sounds of the handcuffs going into a metal basket or box and coming in and out of there, and marching the deportees up to the plane steps, the metal, hearing the footsteps on the metal. That worked on me, man. You know, I'm thinking about my trans sisters right now, and some of them, probably as we speak, being moved into men's facilities, even though judges blocked Trump's ruling that this happened. Not only are they cut off from their medications, but they're being put really in worse danger than they were already in. You know, it's not club fed. It's not anything cute about federal prison. I can guarantee you most of these will be black and brown women, trans women. And the fear. You know, so my little feelings about whatever I might be afraid of, can't hold a candle to that, so I might as well hold a candle for them. I might as well hold a candle for them here on the radio, and I ask y'all to do too, okay? We gotta have compassion for people. So that's how I'm using my voice. And it is how I'm walking, my talking. You know, gotta get up and do this every week, and then show my face in public with people. So that's it. I don't know, that's it. Next week we're going to talk about friendship. And I appreciate all of y'all who are my friends. You want a little line from here? Here we go. And a youth said, "Speak to us of friendship." And he answered, saying, "Your friend is your needs answered. He is your field, which you sow with love and reap with thanksgiving. And he is your board and your fireside. For you come to him with your hunger, and you seek him for peace." A little food for thought. Go to In the Cab Radio at Linktree, scroll all the way down, and get you the free words of Kahlil Gibran. Go to KahlilGibran.com if you want, straight there. Go to KMRD.FM. Thanks y'all for tuning in the Cab Radio on Instagram. Be strong this week. Don't let the roller coaster and the back and forth get you down. Okay, it's meant to tire us out. We cannot get tired out, okay? Don't feel bad about anything that I said to you today. If you fly in the Ukraine flag, I'm not coming down on you, but I just want to ask you to ask yourself, if you see one brighter than you see the other. We have to see everybody here, or else we're just going to keep doing it one above the other when we all have to be together. Love everybody. In the Cab Radio is produced by Jada White, aka Dream Queen. Original theme music produced by Baby Weekend Boys and Icky Mac the Beat Jugular. Learn more at In the Cab Radio at Linktree. Thank you so much for tuning in.